my truckers, man, I need y'all to be safe out there. There's been a lot of black men that have their CDLs and that are on the road have been missing a lot lately. So all I'm saying is, man, you guys drive safe, be aware of your surroundings, bro. If you are able to bring something to protect yourself, I advise you to do that. There's been truck drivers all across the United States disappearing, going to truck stops in the middle of nowhere. If you are, try to stay in a lit up area, don't just pull off to some random ass side of the road. Just be aware of your surroundings, guys. And yeah, man, y'all stay safe, man. There's a lot of black truck drivers that's ending up missing in the United States. So I need y'all to be careful out there, man. It's a cruel, cruel world out there, man. They out to get us. Listen, man, all my truckers, man, I need y'all to be safe out there. There's been a lot of black men that have their CDLs and that are on the road have been missing a lot lately. So all I'm saying is, man, you guys drive safe, be aware of your surroundings, bro. If you are able to bring something to protect yourself, I advise you to do that.
Shalom. Call HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH has given all praise to the Most High, in the name of His only begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to our teachers, the elders, and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us His truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to those elect scattered abroad. Shalom to 144,000. And as you see in this video, this individual right here is talking about, it says, black truck drivers missing in the United States. All right, so you got a lot of these truck drivers, all right, Jakes, that's driving these trucks. They're going missing, all right? Now, what's happening right now is the racial tension in this country is increasing, which means it's going to be more, Jakes going missing, getting put to death, all right? And along with that, it's going to be more of these individuals not getting, let me grab that too, man. All right, because they're pretty much getting away scot-free with murder. You had this whole incident with those twins, that was, you had those twin brothers I went into a few weeks ago. They got found, far as hell away from where they were supposed to be at, in some, in the mountains of some sundown town, unalived, and they just, labeled it, a double suicide or something like that, pretty much. And they do that every time Jake comes up missing, Jake hanging from a tree somewhere. They'll say they just killed themselves, okay? Then you also had it where this guy Carmelo Anthony, he was defending himself against the Edomite, and allegedly killed him, and he just got, tried as an adult, for capital murder, I believe. They were trying to say that he, which those Edomites, they attacked him, but he defended himself, and now he's going to jail, for murder. So it's just going to show you that this country is still not for us, and we are behind enemy lines, man. Okay? Let me grab this too, because, his advice is to, bring a weapon. Look at this comment right here. It says, carry your gun. If you can't legally carry machete, pepper spray, baton, body camera, share location with loved ones via iPad, live time tracking. These guys develop security blueprints for trucking companies and truck drivers. All right. So, if you are able to carry, then so be it. Do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, a gun can't save you. Okay, this is why you got to be, made one with your power, YAHWASHI, and in truth and sincerity. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 11, verse 4. It says, thus saith Yahweh, my power, feed the flock of the slaughter. It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And this is what's happening in this country. Jake getting slayed left and right, and these people are getting found innocent. They're not being found guilty for the hell they put upon us, the death and destruction they're bringing upon us. There's been many accounts of Jake men, because the biggest target is the Israelite man, predominantly the so-called black man. All right, that's you got a target on your back here in America, bro, and they there's been many situations where they'll kill us and pretty much get off, for whatever reason they'll get off. Okay, it says, and then and as soon as we kill one of them, it's the end of the world. Blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Right. So, hey, man, we need Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHWASHI, because at the end of the day, this place is not for us. This place is against us. And this is going to lead up into the time of Jacob's trouble, where a lot of, racial tension is going to increase, and eventually it's going to be a complete open season upon you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Indians. This is what this is all leading up to. It's only going to get worse. This is why you go to a job driving trucks and you going missing, because they, them Edomites, they see you, they might see you at a light, follow you. You go to the truck stop, they're going to come in there and get you, man. This is the reality. You got Jake somewhere getting tortured right now. Oh, okay? Getting jacked up right now. And this is why the best thing you can do is turn back to Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHWASHI, because that's the only chance of salvation, the only chance of protection that we really have. We truly have here, bro. Okay? Even if you do defend yourself with a gun or whatever, you're still going to go to prison, because now now somebody done got killed or hurt, and and you are always guilty before proven innocent in this country. Okay, and ain't nobody trying to prove you to be innocent. So hey, the odds are against us, but hey, we got the Lord. Look here. And this reminds me of around the time when I first came into the truth, man. I started, I had went to the trucking school, and I was going to go get my CDLs and all that kind of stuff, which if I would have went through with it, I would have made more money. But the catch was they wanted you to drive a certain amount of miles outside of your state. They wanted you to travel, moving around and stuff. And quite frankly, I denied it because of the truth. I wanted to be more around, and focus into the ministry. Now, because of that, I don't make as much money as I would like, but at the same time, I'm rich in the spirit. Okay, I have grown tremendously in the spirit for that, and that's what pays off in the long run anyways, man. Okay, this money, these jobs don't mean shit. You can die on these jobs, but what matters is that you have Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHWASHI, and that's going to give you a level of protection that most people don't have. Lucky. This is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 4. It says, "And these are the words that the Lord Yahweh spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail? And all faces are turned into paleness." This is the time we're coming into where Jacob's going to be getting hunted down, open season. People going to be afraid. Okay? When the brothers was telling me about a vision he had the other day, the other night, and it was a terrifying time. That's the time we're coming into, a time worse than any time in history. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, and you niggas are about to be in trouble." Okay? But he shall be saved out of it. And this is why we ain't worried about a bag, man. We just concerned with serving Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHWASHI. To hell with a bag. To hell with some money. To hell with, because it's not going to save you. Alright? It's lucky. That's Satan. But it's not going to save you, man. Okay? What's going to save you is Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHWASHI. If you be the elect, the Lord's going to deliver you. But Jake, a lot of times too, they'll reject this truth for a job or for their career, and guess what? That shit is going to not help you at all. Okay? Not to mention, these jobs are going to hell. The trucking businesses, the trucking, jobs are going down. All these jobs are really going down, when you think about it. So the best thing that we could have did was invest in Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHWASHI. Okay? Let me go over here too. It says, because hey, we need the Lord to come soon, man. Okay, that's the only hope that we have. It says, the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 21. It says, "For then," I'm gonna read it in the NLT. "For there will be greater anguish than at any time since the world began, and it will never be so great again. In fact, unless that time of calamity is shortened, not a single person will survive, but it will be shortened for the sake of the Most High's chosen ones." All right, for the elect's sake, the Lord is speeding up these times and shortening these times. But if it wasn't for that, no flesh will be saved. Everybody would end up dying under the wicked rule of this devil. Okay, especially the way things are going, how bad things are getting here in this country. It just leads you to believe that it's going to get much worse as time goes on. We know it's going to get much worse. The prophecy just said that. Okay, a worst time in history. Okay, so we tell you to repent, come back to YAHAWASHI, because when the time when push comes to shove, these people gonna show you who they are. It says Ecclesiasticus or Sirach chapter 12, verse 10. It says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." And a lot of our people don't even realize they have enemies. You don't even realize that you got enemies, man. Okay, you just out here la-di-da-da thinking it's all sweet, smiling and waving at everybody. But you got people that you never met that want to see you bleed. Okay, that want to see your destruction. It says, "Though he humble himself and go crouching, take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away." This is the same devil, man. Okay, I always bring it out how Esau said, "When the days of mourning for my father right hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob." They have the perpetual hatred to this day. They still want to slay us. So if they get an opportunity to catch you on a dark street, middle of the night, when your truck break down or something, they're gonna snatch you up. And if they do find you, you're gonna be somewhere 90 miles away, hanging from a tree. Okay, it says, "Though he humble himself and go," it says, "Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he shall stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith." You gotta remember these words, man. Okay, this is supposed to be, in the back of your mind all day, every day. It says, "Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beast?" Trusting in these devils, you wouldn't go into an animal enclosure with a lion or a bear. Okay, and if you do, anybody gonna pity you because that was stupid. Why would you do that? Well, it's the same thing with trusting and depending upon Esau. Okay, making ties with Esau. It says, "For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagines how to throw thee into a pit." And that's in the mind of all these Edomites. They want to put you in the grave. It says, "He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity," and fuck around and give him an opportunity if you want to, "he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee." And this is what they do. They'll pretend to help you. They're very crafty. They're demons, man. The way these Edomites work, bro, is they're very crafty. They're hunters. They'll pretend to be your best friend. You'll get all close to you, but the whole time it's in the back of their mind of destroying you, putting you to death. Okay, in some way, form, or fashion. That's how they get down. All right, and this is why the Lord has put us on game about these devils, man. It says, Psalm chapter 83, "Keep thou not silence, O power, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult. They that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones." This girl just told me, she mixed, I guess her mom is an Edomite, her dad is a Jake, but she told me her grandpa on her mom's side was a member of the Ku Klux Klan, a leader of the Ku Klux Klan. She just told me this shit. I'm like, damn, bitch, that's crazy. But she said how, pretty much how I said, well, how does he feel about you and your children, yada yada yada? How your family feel about them? Oh, they pretty much they tolerate them, but if it was anybody else, it's a whole different story. So that's the spirit of these Edomites, bro. And even what they had, I ain't telling, but bitch, when push come to shove, they finna, round y'all up and, hog tie y'all and, do y'all bad too. Especially as things really get bad. Hey, if it's brown, put it down. Even so-called family. It says, they have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, first on the list. These so-called white people, man. All right, then it goes on to the Ishmaelites, the Arabs, Moabites, Chinese, and or so on and so on. All these heathens, you have enemies for them. So you realize that you're gonna be in trouble. Shalom, Kama Shirallah, Baba Ball.